The literary world gathered here in Abuja to witness a remarkable moment as renowned author Tom Mbeke Ekanem, best known for his award-winning book Beyond the Execution, officially launched Royal Ambition, a powerful new work exploring the dangers of unchecked ambition in Nigeria's traditional communities, particularly in royal succession battles. Inspired by real-life events witnessed during his visit to Akwa Ibom, Ekanem's latest release delves into turbulent succession battles among the Ibibio, Wuruan, and Calabar communities.
What happened, I would say, took place almost more than 2 decades ago. I came in from United States. When I arrived, my small community, there was crisis of unprecedented scale. And that happened to be the chieftaincy crisis. I was smack right in the middle of it. Chieftaincy crisis is not peculiar to any community. Based on my findings, just as we know the recent one that happened at the Kano Emirate, for instance, there are other places that I found out. But the thing about the chieftaincy crisis is that sometimes it will go almost for I would say, for decades, 2, 3 decades, oftentimes till the combatants die before the community kind of go back to normalcy. So there are various individuals that are affected. Of course, communities are equally affected the more because things like development will be stifled.
The unveiling, led by US-based engineer Isaac Udotong, drew dignitaries from across sectors and reaffirmed royal ambition as a must-read for scholars, policymakers, and community leaders alike.
I'm very, very happy to be here in Abuja to meet with all of us, especially on this occasion of launching a book of our brothers that I greatly prefer. So somebody like him to step into that country and grow it and distinguish himself, become a renowned engineer, become a renowned actor and public administrator and educationist. It is something for us to celebrate. So he has done us proud, both home and abroad.
I feel very, very excited that I'm part of history today for the public presentation of this book. The lessons I find there from the few pages I've looked at is that history has been documented over time, and that some of the things we probably had thought were oral history or oral tradition have been documented. That it's good to read books that are relevant, and when people take time to write, particularly writings in what I would call not so familiar terrain, it's important that we take time to read.
Documenting information, history and all that, because these are some things that we take for granted, especially for, by the time you're giving information to generations, oral, communication is not as good as documented one because it can be used as reference and so on, even for academic purposes and the rest of the things. So I'm really glad to see somebody sit down, not just a normal topic, but succession, because that's one of the major problems we have in our society, even in families. Everybody should have a copy in their libraries and maybe in schools. It should be taught in schools. Some of us read books like E.N. Amaku. Over the years, we've seen versions of information that somehow have altered the facts established by E.N. Amaku. And this book is one of those.
Structured in 6 compelling parts, Royal Ambition examines cultural clashes, leadership failures, and the ripple effects of power tussles on governance and communal peace. The book notably covers the controversial amendment of the Akwa Ibom Traditional Rulers Council Law, The Wuruan case of deputy village head who refused to relinquish power on trust to the rightful owner, and that of the 2008 dual coronation crisis in Cross River State Obong of Calabar throne.
Look at the situation of a village head, a deputy village head, who was appointed to hold the throne for somebody because he's deputy. And then the substantive village head came back and he refused to surrender power. Look at the story of the young man that kidnapped his father and locked him up and declared himself chief. When the federal police came to ask him, he said his father was dead. I mean, these stories are rampant in the book and clearly plays out the challenges that we face in ambition that has gone astray, if I may say so. I mean, ambition is good, as noted out by the book, but it has to be checked, it has to be controlled, it has to be limited. These are the issues.
Too many people are too ambitious. They do not care about other individuals. They do not even care about the law in the books, how to become whatever it is that they desire to become. So once they allow such ambition to take over their thinking, we have problems. And as a result, in fact, it becomes the main reason why many crises erupt all over the country.
The book reviewer, Dr. Enebong Umosian, hailed the book as a vital resource for understanding succession politics, as well as lessons derived.
The lesson is simple. Respect the rights and privileges of all the sectors of Akwa Ibom State. Recognize the various tribes, recognize the various peoples, and give them a place. I'm happy that even in the Nigerian political system, there's this principle of rotation, which brings some peace. People can rest, knowing that their turn will come. And so the fracas is reduced. So I think one of the ways that the book has brought out that we need to leverage to ensure peaceful successions is this issue of rotation.
Chairman of the occasion, Dr. Tommy Etem praised Ekanem's brilliance in capturing history through literature.
The exposure, this book has brought to the fore is something worth, practicing to see to it that, that there will be a time that we will make a choice of who leads us based on capacity. We should not be over-ambitious. We should not be ambitious because whatever God has destined for you, because you may be so ambitious and miss what God has put on. It's one thing for you to aim leadership. Another thing is for you, when you are in leadership, what can you really make of the leadership? There are kings who have led without any meaningful development. Because what we should be focused on is a change mechanism. What we can do to bring a change, what we can do to transform, what we can do to bring development and growth, but not to have a power that you cannot execute.
Representing Governor Umo Eno, TPL Anyekan Ubong Akpan described the launch as a historic contribution to leadership discourse.
I like to say that we are sitting in the midst of history in the making. Every book is a compilation of thoughts. And today we are witnessing history being made. This book will be reviewed even after us. There will be reviews of what the author has said, what he tried to say, what his top lines were. But the beautiful thing is that whatever the future is going to do will be that today marks the birth of how the future is going to analyze this occasion, which we did today as a book launch. It will also be a literature for further works for scholars who are doing their first degree studies, those who are doing masters or PhD studies in this field. I would like to say that the theme of the book is crisis in succession. My own observation is that this is a time and age-long crisis Because every time there is a shift in power, both during the Bible time, there will always be crisis. It's either the leader has not prepared for his successor, or there are elements who are not ready for the change. Either way, there is always crisis when there is a change, because human beings do not easily accept or adapt to change, and therefore there is a tendency for us to resist or try to manipulate the program of change or what needs to change. The course of human actions have been reduced into written words by a very erudite and consummate gentleman in the person of engineer Tom Mbeke Ekanem. I'd like to thank him for spending time to give us this literature, and believe that this is the beginning of more good things to come.
But I've seen the book, and I'm so excited, especially when I look at the caption of the book, Crisis of Succession in the Biblio, ran in scope. And because if you look at the Biblio, it cuts across the 3 senatorial districts in Akwa Ibom State, and Uran Fine, the local government, of course, Calabar is also another area. And that is why when we talk about Calabar, I don't know why we're looking at the fig as it is. So I made it eager to look at the content of the book.
The book clearly highlights the persistent challenges in leadership succession. It emphasizes that the process of recruiting new leaders is often complicated and marked by conflict. Importantly, it offers valuable recommendations to ensure smooth transitions, whether through appointment or election.
As the book has brought out clearly, there's always a challenge in succession. The leadership recruitment process, at all levels, not just the traditional system, even in politics, has been cumbersome and full of altercations.
For sustainable development to be achieved, effective management of succession issues is crucial.
The book has brought out recommendations on ensuring that the next leader is seamlessly elected or appointed. These are the things we need to follow. For there to be peace, for there to be development, sustainable development, we need to be able to manage this issue of succession.
The author have done a deep research into the book, and that is why we are also calling on every one of us, families, to make a copy available to our families and libraries, even friends.
In a time of rising leadership challenges, Royal Ambition stands as a call for accountability, tradition-conscious reforms, and sustainable leadership solutions.